Good afternoon, dear viewers. You're watching Georgian Times. This is Real Politics, and I'm Malkaz Gulashvili. Today is Thursday, and as always, our guest is Maksim Shevchenko. Welcome, Maksim.
Hello, Malkaz. Greetings to you and to our viewers and listeners.
Let's start with global politics. Trump seems to be launching a new offensive, though he avoids direct war, but has blocked the Strait of Hormuz. What is he trying to achieve? Can he really resolve the issue this way?
First of all, I don't think Trump is ready for a new war. War requires massive mobilization. The kind of operation we saw before, when Israel was fully prepared and the US had intact bases and radar systems, can't simply be repeated now. If anything happens, it will likely be limited airstrikes. The US and Israel have total air superiority, but any strike would trigger retaliation against Israel. Missile strikes, escalation, possibly closure of the strait. Strategically, there's no sense in launching such an attack. It's already clear Iran cannot be defeated or forced into submission. Trump has a deadline, his planned meeting with Xi Jinping. By then, he needs to solve the Iran issue, either through an impossible military victory or by reaching some agreement. Even a deal unfavorable to the US could be presented as a success. He'll simply declare it a historic agreement. Meanwhile, China stands behind Iran. It doesn't want war, it wants to benefit from the outcome. If the US withdraws, Iran becomes the dominant power in the Persian Gulf, and China gains influence over the region's energy resources. So Trump is bluffing and negotiating at the same time, trying to secure any deal he can present as a win.
Do you think Erdogan's calls for ending the conflict influence Trump?
Not at all. Trump doesn't care about Erdogan's advice. He acts based on his own agenda. His goal is to approach talks with Xi from a position of strength. A military victory over Iran would have been ideal, but that's no longer possible. The second option is a peace deal, but that's weaker. It won't be Iran's capitulation. More likely, some vague nuclear agreement that's hard to verify. At this point, Trump just needs something, anything he can present as an achievement before meeting Xi.
What has Trump actually achieved geopolitically? It seems he's losing influence.
That happens. Even someone like Napoleon lost influence after his war with Russia. Wars can be lost, even by powerful leaders. Trump made a serious mistake. The plan was likely this: weaken Iran, provoke it into attacking Arab states, turn those states against Iran, and strengthen Israel's position. But what happened? Iran was not defeated. Arab countries did not turn against Iran. Israel gained some ground, but did not achieve regional dominance. In the end, China is the biggest winner. It will dominate the Persian Gulf economically. Trump didn't want this outcome. Now he's trying to save face and secure the best possible position after a failed strategy.
Let's talk about domestic US politics. There are discussions about impeachment. Is that realistic?
Not before the next congressional elections. The current Congress won't impeach Trump. Even if Congress tries to limit military actions, Trump can bypass it by calling operations something other than war. Legally, he still has room to act. If the political balance changes after elections, impeachment could become possible, but that's a long process.
Switching topics. Trump says he might liberate Cuba. Why Cuba?
Because he needs a success story. Cuba poses no real threat to the US anymore. It has no geopolitical weight today. Attacking it would look absurd and provoke backlash. Most likely, Trump is trying to negotiate, presenting a deal as a victory. A war with Cuba would make no sense.
Let's move to Europe. In Hungary, Magyar won elections but says he'll support Orban. What's going on?
That's mostly sarcasm, but with some logic behind it, Orban could shift his focus to the European Parliament and become a major figure there, especially among nationalist and Eurosceptic forces. That could create serious challenges for EU leadership.
Now about Georgia and statements from Russian officials regarding the EU. How do you interpret that?
Honestly, such statements are often overinterpreted. Russia's foreign policy isn't determined by spokespersons. Georgia isn't a real threat to Russia. These narratives are often distractions from more serious issues.
We're out of time. Let's continue next time. Thank you, Maxim.
Thank you. See you next Thursday.